Please welcome our next speaker as the Accenture Defense and Intel Data and AI Lead, Garrett Bernsten.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah. I have never gotten such an enthusiastic introduction. I don't think. Feel like I'm heading to like home plate, take a swing. So thank you very much. My name is Garrett Bernsten. As he said, I work at Accenture Federal Services. I started there about a month ago. And I've had, I would say, a career that spanned a lot of different jobs. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, obviously, today. I spent 5 years in uniform in the Army. I worked at a big system integrator, a competitor, actually, to my current company, Deloitte. I joined government. I worked in the civil service at the State Department, and I worked on the National Security Council in 2023 and worked on the executive order. And then I just spent the last year in the Defense Department. So I'm going to try to give advice today, like practical advice for how you have a career in this space in AI, and some general career advice as well. Oh, we tested it a second ago. There we go. Okay. Before I do that, though, I just kind of want to lead with one sort of meta thought here, which is like basically all of the forces of our society tell you that your career like must be a linear sort of explosive growth, and I think like nothing is further from the truth. All social media, everything basically tells you you got to go from success to success, but it's generally populated by failures and setbacks throughout everything you do, and I think that's totally normal. My career has definitely been that way as well. I'll give a few like specific examples. So this is me. I had just gotten through some training in the Army. I know you look at this photo and you think that is an AI leader, right? That's like an artificial intelligence leader. I had no technical background at all. I actually was assessed in my 10th choice in the Army. I wanted to be an infantryman, and I was given transportation. It was like literally one of my last choices. It was like pretty heartbreaking, to be honest with you. But I learned a lot, and I actually ended up just like gaining technical skills from logistics planning that I never kind of expected that I would get. In the middle, there's a photo of me at graduate school. I was like dead set on joining the Intel community. My dad was a case officer of the agency. I definitely wanted to follow his footsteps. But there was a huge hiring freeze, and I did not do that. I was unable to join the IC. Again, huge setback. But it led me to work in industry out of grad school. Again, I thought I was going to work in defense and intel. My first 2 years was spent at the Department of Transportation. If you've never worked or heard of the Federal Railroad Administration, it is an awesome agency in the Department of Transportation. They regulate all rail. Everybody is like a huge rail nerd who works there. I was not, but I sort of became one. And I actually had an opportunity there to be one of the more technical people on a non-technical team and gain a lot of different skills that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. So half of this is honestly just how you perceive your own journey and trying to take the setbacks in stride, learn from them, and kind of move on. So from that, I do have some sort of general advice, some career advice. The first is that every organization just fundamentally needs people who solve problems, and you would actually be shocked how hard it is to find people in organizations that solve problems. You can be that person, whether you are super technical or not, but just being the go-to person who raises their hand, who says, I'm willing to solve problems, can go tremendously far. I often find with young people in particular that I've worked with who start on my teams, they're so concerned about the next job or whatever the next thing is. And I just sort of say to them, like, are you the absolute best person at your current job? Focus on that before you are talking to me about the next promotion or the next job. Be exceptional at what you do. That, more than anything, will set you up for success for the next thing, more than just trying to figure out or position or any of the things. Be really, really, really good at what you do. The second thing is to be curious and to read widely. Read everything. Don't just read stuff about AI. though on my next slide, you'll see I say read a lot of stuff about AI because it's really important. Read fiction, read the news, anything to sort of expand your view on how you think about problems is, I think, super valuable. The third thing, and some of this is probably about being a little bit less technical. I am not a data scientist. I'm not a data engineer, but I've worked on AI, applied AI for basically the last 10 years. And so some of these are framed, I think, by how do I be a good practitioner in that space without being super, super technical. And a lot of it is asking good questions and being a good listener. In particular, listening to your clients and your customers about what their problems are, listening to your own teams about what their challenges are, and then being able to translate that and communicate is super, super important. The fourth thing is kind of about relationships and networking. Again, in Washington in particular, my experience is people kind of fetishize the networking. You got to go to every networking event. You got to reach out to all these people. I have found like fewer, very meaningful relationships and networking is so much more important than a large, wide network. At the end of the day, you want to have people who trust you, who have worked with you, and who will like pound the table and say like, I need to bring this person onto the team. I need to hire this person. I need to trust this person with this like challenging initiative. And that doesn't come from just like 1 or 2 meetings. That's from working with people and gaining their trust. So if you're going to, I would focus on fewer, deeper relationships. This is another one. I'm sure by putting this in here, it will lead inevitably to a lot of people reaching out to me, and that is okay. I personally probably have like a 30% batting average for the number of people that I reach out to and get responses. I'm totally unashamed of reaching out to people either on LinkedIn or if I find their email. If they don't respond, that's fine, all good. But I definitely try to have a point of view when I reach out to people. Not the most generic, hi, I'm a student and I like AI and I see you do AI and I want to do AI. Like, have a point of view, reach out about something specific. If you can provide value about something ongoing that you're doing, even better. You have to understand this sheer like volume that comes in to folks who are hiring. And it's just really important to try to stand out and not sort of just be totally generic. I think this is pretty tried and true advice. People have probably heard this before. But definitely like follow people if you can, follow leaders. I have found more than a cool company or more than like a great title, if I'm working for or with someone that I really trust, it is just so much better than any title or anything you might think like outwardly looks impressive. If you have a good team, if you have a good leadership team, you will just learn so much more. You'll just be happier with your day-to-day. And I think that's also how you learn fastest and how you grow. The last thing I'll say, this is a little bit counterintuitive, but I actually think there's like an inverse relationship with the applicability of career advice that someone gives you with how senior they are. So by that I mean like, if you're talking to someone, if I was talking to a cabinet secretary or something, there is probably no career advice, honestly, that they're gonna give me that is actually like helpful to me. It might be nice to talk to them, but like really who you wanna talk to are people in your peer group or maybe like one step ahead of you on the career ladder or doing something specifically you know you wanna do. This is kind of counterintuitive. People always reach out to senior people and they want to talk to them. Their journey is not going to be your journey. Like what got them to some serious, significant job is just not this. There's no tried and true path. Things are changing really fast. So try to talk to your peers. I have a group of peers from my graduate school. We've stayed in really close touch and I'm always talking to them and learning from them on sort of what they're up to and how they're looking at the market and their career. Okay, so now I want to give some AI-related career advice. Again, this falls under the auspices of being the least technical person on a technical team, which I've been very fortunate to be. So that is a specific thing on this list. I'll say try to be the least technical person on a technical team. That is how you grow. That is how you learn. If you think about any industry, if you're if in sports, you want to play with the best people. You want to not be the best person on the court. You want to be with people who are better than you, that push you and teach you. And so I have always tried to find technical teams where I can be on that team, but I am definitely not the smartest person in the room, and I'm learning from everybody all the time. However, with that comes the responsibility to not be a dead weight to that team. Oftentimes, high-functioning technical teams will see that very quickly, and so find ways to deliver value to technical teams. If it's things they just hate doing, do those things. If it is, there's other skills though, obviously, outside of just specific AI work. You can use user design. You can understand how to do agile Scrum management. There's all these technical capabilities around a technical AI team that a lot of times really, really technical folks do not want to do. They do not want to do it. And so be the person who helps deliver value to that team through whatever you need to do, and then learn from them on technical issues. Again, be curious, read a lot. There has never been more sort of media on AI. I mean, look at this massive space that we're in right now. This is a good example. There's never been more interest in AI. So there's stuff in general reporting. There's podcasts. There's lots of different options. But also, take the time to read the latest AI research. I try. I don't always understand everything. If I read the abstract and I understand the abstract, that's a good start. But take the time to actually read what's coming out there. There's an incredible amount of it all the time. If you even look how some of these AI companies are structured, they actually just call themselves research labs. They think of themselves as research first and not product first. So it's important to understand what research they're actually putting out there, and things are changing very quickly, so it's really, really useful for that. I think the last thing, or the second to last thing I'll say is always have an opinion. People don't want wallflowers in meetings. They want to hear what you think. If it's above your head in a technical way, which is totally fair, you can have an opinion on how it would impact the customer or the user experience. So all of these various ways that AI is sort of impacting the way we work, you should have an opinion about that. Just be willing to change that opinion if someone brings you new information. That's, I think, a really big part of the moment right now is things are changing so fast. Something could have come out literally the day before that you didn't. Someone this morning actually said that they announced the timeline for GPT-5. I didn't even know that. I think it came out yesterday. So things are changing all the time. Just be humble about kind of the challenge to keeping up. And then the last thing I'll say, I had this experience at the National Security Council where I worked on the executive order, and there was a lot of people who understood policy. NSC is a policy shop. There were not a lot of people who actually understood applied AI, in particular in the government context, and that is a huge gap. And so if you are a person out there, there's a lot of interesting AI policy work. You cannot be the AI policy person who has never used these tools. You must get hands-on experience with these tools if you actually want to talk policy. I think it's important just that I think it's necessary for us to have good policy. And I think it also will differentiate you because there's lots of people writing and tweeting and talking about how this impacts policy. And I have found a lot of times those folks don't actually have hands-on experience with the technology. So it's a way to differentiate yourself in that space. So that is all I have. I think the last thing I'll say, just to summarize, this is a super exciting moment for AI. It is going to impact the entire economy. And if you feel like you're not in the right AI job that you want, I think you need to look at your own existing job and say, actually, I could apply AI to my current job. Just because I'm not in some specific company or some specific research lab, it is going to impact everything we do. So think about ways to use it on your current job to impact what you're doing, to make things easier and more efficient. Start where you are, and then use those experiences to sort of build out and follow that circuitous career path as you move forward. That's all I have. Thank you.